Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amasid and today we're going over loot from 50 Putrid Cloister maps T15. So I ran these over the course of the last couple days. I bought each of the maps for 18 chaos and then pumped them up with sack frags and sextants. Sextants effectively just equal more stack decks from the base mobs around, not the boss. But that was essentially the strategy. I apologize in advance. This is going to be a little bit more of an Excel stream or an Excel video because, frankly, a lot of the loot is just these rogue random divination cards. As you can see, I kind of meticulously cataloged them here, and I've highlighted them, and we'll go over sort of the ones of value in addition to the other things. So, first things first. Let's go to the top. Apologize, my Excel is a little laggy. There we go. Okay, so as I said, investment per map averaged with the sack frag investment as well as the individual maps plus the awakened sextants, which I loaded on each map, was about 20 chaos per map, roughly. I bought these in bulk from one person, so I got kind of a nice deal on that. So the total investment was 1,000 chaos, which at the time of writing, with chaos being 88 chaos per X, is about 11.3, 11.4 X. So we'll go over how we got all this, but we recouped total after selling or valuing and selling through most of the stuff, just about 28.5 exalts, which gives a total gain total gain of 17.2 exalts. So a couple things to note. I didn't include this, but you may have noticed here in column L, I have minus Cortex. That is because I did get a Cortex drop, which I sold for 7x. Except because I would describe that as extremely, you can't really expect a Cortex drop at all, obviously. I also did the math without the Cortex just because, frankly, I didn't think it was relevant for anybody who was thinking about maybe running these on chain like I did. You can't expect a Cortex map, so I took that out. And we still made a pretty nice profit. We doubled our money almost. But with the Cortex map, it became even more significant. The Cortex map, I mean, honestly, almost paid for all the maps themselves. So it's a little bit cheating. So I did open my stack decks, but I had about 188 stack decks. Those sell for about a chaos each. So if I just left them unopened, I could have sold it for about 2.1x. But I did open them because who doesn't open their stack decks? So including the stack decks openings, I had 1,159 divination cards. I highlighted these two at the top because I had already sold them at the time of creating this spreadsheet. These were my best two. I got one Iron Bard, which gives Strash to Treasure, and I got Nook's Crown, which gives, I believe, an item of 100 Elder Bone Helmet, which I sold for 2x. So those are already, honestly, if you just take that, plus the stack decks, plus the Cortex, you've already, pretty much made your money back, and then the rest is just gravy. So in terms of going over the divination cards of note, so you can see here the way my spreadsheet's broken out is I have the amount that I got of that divination card, how much it goes per divination card, just the straight multiplication there, and then a conversion into X. So most cards, I wasn't, to try and make sure I wasn't buffing up the numbers here. If a card was, for example, where is it? Boon of Justice. Boon of Justice is a trade-in of 6 that gives you an offering to the goddess, which is worth nothing. So I counted those as worth 0 because I'm not going to sell Boons of the Justice. No one's buying those. So if I felt was truly irrelevant, again, you get things that, like Scroll of Wisdom cards or just random cards that I know people are not buying. Everything defaults to 1 chaos if you look it up on trade, but that's just fundamentally not true. So I valued them where I thought applicable. I didn't try and overvalue. I tried to be as fair as I could just to make sure I wasn't, saying, oh my God, I made 40x doing this and you can do this too, because that just wouldn't be the case. So I really only highlighted the cards that mattered. So Abandoned Wealth gives a turn-in of 5 cards or 3 exalts. I got 4 of those. I actually got 3 of them very early and then 1 kind of trickled. I sold them for 50C each. I didn't want to deal with it. So that's a solid 2.3, almost 2.3x. So Chaotic Disposition is a trade of 1 and 1. It gives you 5 chaos per, so I got 9 of those, so that's just an easy 45 chaos. I got a bunch of Emperor's Lux, Dangerous Madness, a bunch of other random ones. I highlighted again the ones that I thought were So the most interesting, Eldritch Decay gives an Uber Elder Fragment. I would also note that this is all before I turned in anything. I didn't turn in any of the cards at this point because I figured that if we're trying to understand value of making a run like this, it's best to understand how much the cards are worth and not how much the turn-ins are worth, because the turn-ins are so RNG heavy. Like, for example, Eldritch Decay, you get an Uber Elder Fragment. It could be an Elder Fragment, which is, 25 Chaos, or it could be a Shaper Fragment, which is 1 to 1.5x. So, and for example, I valued these as the cards, which makes this a 36 Chaos turn-in, but I hit, I think I hit a Fragment of Knowledge, which is 1.3x. So I didn't think it was fair to judge that, so I judged it based on the card value, not the turn-in value. I will go over my turn-ins at the end. I didn't get anything too wild. This was probably one of the best ones, honestly, was turning this in for a shape or a Fragment of Knowledge, but just to note that that's how I handled this. So the Hoarder is the Exile card. It's a 12 turn-in, so these were each worth about 7 Chaos pop. The price of Loyalty is the I have not sold this one yet, but it is a 2 implicit corrupted Skin of the Loyal. Those sell for about 49.50 C Chaos, or 59 a pop. So I have that one. Saint's Treasure is a 1 of 10 Exalt card, or 2 Exalts for a turn-in of 10. The Soul gives you a Flask, and I believe that is it. Yeah, that's it. So in terms of other loose loot, maps, we got about 3.5 Exalt worth of maps, and I will show you those maps. So you can see we got them all here. Because I was running at T15, most of the maps were T15, T14, T16, mostly T15. So I averaged the maps at about 6 Chaos pop, because that's how much T15s go for. So that gives you 258 Chaos in maps alone, which is the bulk majority of it. The other being, when it says other, that is things like, I got a Chimera, a Minotaur, I have a Constrictor map here. So those account for something. So those were the other area. So that was really the majority of the maps. Currency, so I included, this is again with the inclusion of the 7x for the Cortex map. I had a couple loose Exalts, etc., things like that. But really the majority came from Cortex here, but I subtracted it at the top if you want to see both. In terms of Chaos, again, I sold the Iron Bard. That was, I believe, 60-something Chaos, 62 Chaos, whatever it was. So that was the majority. Otherwise than that, I had loose Chaos drops as well. And in terms of other currency, we had just about 1.3x of other currency being, Rogue Harbor coins, Jewelers, Fusings, whatever. So that was that. In terms of heists, I actually got a couple. So I got 28 contracts, which I valued at a Chaos pop. So that's just about 28C. And then I got 3 blueprints. One of them is actually not bad, and it's 11 currency. It's an 11 currency replica blueprint, which I thought average blueprint maybe about 10 Chaos. I'm level 82, 83. But that could be off, but I didn't think it really was relevant to waste time on. So that was pretty much it for the overall. Let's see if my Excel loads. There we go. So the total recoup, including the Cortex, was 28.5x versus without the Cortex 21.5. So either way, it's a nice gain. I did not include, as you can see here, I did not include items here yet because these were turn-ins. A couple of these were turn-ins. This I got because I was thinking about running it, so I didn't think it was fair to include, but I got this is about a 25 Chaos map. I have a couple of these like random items. I thought, this is a pretty solid helm. Some of this stuff I don't know if it's actually going to sell, but you never know, and so these are all mostly from turn-ins, but other than that, a couple of these things just dropped. So there was that, and in addition to just giving a quick showcase of the loot that I got that I turned in, again, nothing really of big value here besides this Fragment of Knowledge, a couple of these Hope Fragments, it's a level item or a tier 4 Putrid Cloister, some random Chaos here, but that was already incorporated via the Divination cards. Beachhead, nothing really great in terms of turn-ins. I didn't get anything spectacular, otherwise I'd be highlighting it. But overall, this was pretty profitable. One thing I would note is that Putrid Cloister is fun to run, except those minus the mobs that shoot projectiles at you and then also get proximity bubble. It's like that is like the worst combo in the game. I could not have been more annoyed when you're standing in the middle of a bunch of them firing EK and they're just not dying because the way their proximity shields overlap. So annoying. So I don't think I'll do this again, but it was pretty profitable, and divination cards are really fun. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, and I thought I'd call this out. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like this content, just so I have a sort of an idea of what people like, what people don't like. I would love to know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Please let me know, and I'm happy to try and see if I can make it work. Anyway, thanks again. I'll catch you in the next one.